Namaste and welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Serenity. And we're going to continue, not with concepts, because we're finished the concept component, but I have more questions in the jar, and I'm going to pull out a question and do my best to answer it within a 10-minute time frame. It will not be perfect like any of these videos. Like I said, I'm off the top of my head. The questions are being answered, and I'm not editing or revising in any way, and I'm not even sure what I'm going to say. And I want it to be that way for authenticity reasons more than anything else, as well as to help me to see if I'm really getting what I'm learning. So as I say that, I'll reach into the jar and grab a question. I'm going to take a deep breath, kind of anchor myself a little bit so I can answer the question from the wiser part of me and not my ego, which is still lingering around and ready to slip through the back door at any time. Okay. This is the question I got. And some of these questions may be fairly personal. Are you afraid what your family will think if they see what you are doing here? Are you afraid what your family will think if they see what you are doing here? That's a good question. A very honest one. It's going to require an honest answer. I do my best to try to answer and be honest anyway, but am I afraid of my family? What they will think and do if they find out what I'm doing here. Well, I don't publicize this blog. I know I have 55 subscribers. Thank you so much. It's much more than I intended, much more than I even thought about actually, because I'm not too attached to the outcome of doing these. And so I don't share a lot with others that I'm doing these videos. And I will have some family members, I'm sure, who would have a very, very hard time listening to me talk about the things that I talk about. I have some family members who are severely entrenched in Christianity and the doctrine that they adhere to, that they may see that what I'm doing is very blasphemous and unethical. I have others who probably think that I'm crazier than a bag of hammers for doing this because of the things I talk about. I have others I come from a large family, so there's going to be a lot of others in this. I have others who know that I practice yoga, but they don't really understand the yoga that occurs off the mat, so they may think it's a little bizarre or whatever of me. And I'm sure I have some who think that I'm being very pretentious and egoic for coming here and talking about these things as if I want to, do something where I shine a little video for 10 minutes, which is not the case. I am not so much afraid. I'm becoming more and more authentically owning what I am and what I do here. I love my family dearly, and though I would listen to their opinion and, take it with a grain of salt, I would not necessarily, agree with what their opinion is. Opinion is just that, opinion. What someone thinks of us is just that, what they think of us. It's not truth. Thoughts are not really truth, right? Truth is the felt experience of living. It's not what we think about it. What people do is just what they do. It's not the felt experience of living. So when people make opinions about what we do, it's just another concept or another form of conceptualization and getting lost in ideas and doctrine in our heads. Speaking about doctrine, yes, my doctrine, those who are still very much indoctrinated into their belief systems, into their organized religions within my family would have a hard time hearing me say that I no longer adhere to the doctrine or the dogma. I'm very appreciative of it for getting me to where I was. To where I am now. I'm very appreciative of my upbringing and all that I learned through it to get me to where I am now. And though I am branching away from it and I'm dismantling those beliefs that were such, so deeply entrenched in me, forming this idea of who I thought I was, I still have great respect for the religion I grew up in, and great respect definitely for my family. And I would by no means want to step on any toes purposely, and I'm not rebellious, and I'm not out to say, hey, I'm right and you're wrong in any way. there is many, many paths to one destination. I believe that. So I'm not afraid of what my family would say if they seen me doing this, nor am I embarrassed. I'm sure they're going to have their opinions, and I do have judgmental people in my family and might say, oh, I can't believe you're doing that, it's so embarrassing. And that's theirs. That's theirs. The only, opinion is, like I said, just a form of conceptualization. So I'm trying to break away from that, and any notion of what they have of me or what they think I should be is just an image that they held. It's an opinion they had. It's just another form of conceptualization, and all conceptualization does not equate to truth, right? Truth is a felt experience of being. And I'm doing what I seem to be, to me, is the felt experience of being by being here and doing what I'm doing here. So I'm fully aware that others will have their judgments and opinions, and I am accepting of those judgments and opinions. I do not own them. I do not believe, I'm not going to say, well, you think that way of me, so therefore that's the way I am. If you think what I'm doing is woo-woo and I'm a bit cray-cray for doing it, that doesn't mean that I'm cray-cray. It doesn't mean that I believe this to be woo-woo. I see the practicality in it, and I see that after years and years and years of studying this, and many other things to compare it to, whatever I do here seems to make the most sense for me as an individual, and for me as the South with a capital S behind the individual. So I'd be very respectful of their opinion. I'd probably hear it and listen to it. And I would be aware, I think, at this point, of what was considered reactive judgment and what was considered, sincere expression of their own relative truth. I would be able to tell the difference at this point, I think, because of the aging that I've done as a human being, as well as all the learning I've done as a human being. So I am not necessarily afraid of what they would do. I still have an ego in me, don't get me wrong, so I still get embarrassed about putting myself out here like this. It's like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing videos for other people to see and putting them on public? If I just want to talk, why don't I just do it on private? But I have this deep, as you know, and I've told you before, this deep, deep compulsion to just publicize them, not going to advertise them, not going to promote them, not going to look for anything secondary from them. But I do have this deep compulsion to put them on public and see what happens. And by doing that, without promoting, without anything, I got 55 subscribers. And to some that would say, that's a very small number. To me, it's a lot bigger than I thought I was going to get. And I can guarantee that my family members are probably not amongst those subscribers. But regardless, it's okay. I guess that is. It's okay if they agree or don't agree with what I'm doing. That is theirs. They own that. They're wherever they're at. They don't have to see where I'm at. They don't have to see the truth in what I have to say. They do not have to like this me that is changing before their eyes. And, it's always a loss for many people in a family, especially when the person awakens or changes or evolves in any way, because we're so attached to our ideas of what people are and what they should be like. They like to describe us and put us into boxes, and if we jump out of those boxes, it's uncomfortable for them to see us running around. So, with another identity, and they're all conceptual identities, right? So, I don't think I am afraid of what my family would say. But I'm not actively asking them to listen to what I have to say. I don't need their opinion. I don't need their validation for this. I love them dearly, but I don't need them to like what I'm doing or like this thing that I'm becoming. It's not about them anyway. And it's really not about this me and my own identity. It's about this self within that is trying to emerge. And if that's woo-woo, it's woo-woo. If it's cray-cray, it's cray-cray. If it's sacrilegious, it's sacrilegious in their eyes. It is what it is. So, no, I'm not afraid. But thank you for that question. It got me thinking. And I know I stumbled a little bit over this answer, but I hope I answered it to your satisfaction. Thank you. Namaste.